and some of my tips and tricks in the first year of me competing last year, being able to execute plenty of 300s and really just fighting on my X count. Because at the end of the day, to be as strong as you want to be does not mean that you're going to be a great archer. You can be as strong as an ox day in and day out, but it does not mean that you are going to be a great archer. It just does not directly transfer. Oh, man. What is up, good people? It feels like forever since I've been back here to be able to shoot outside, and two, since I've been able to actually record a video. So with all that being said, there's been a soapbox that I've jumped on before in the past, and I want to jump on it again. There are plenty of other archery content things that I want to speak on, but this one is near and dear to my heart. I got a lot of things going. The summer's coming, so I guess this is why it gets really, really ramped up in my brain. So for those that don't know, my name is William Alderman. I do run a sports and performance business outside of this fun archery stuff that you guys might see me do. I'm also a strength coach at a local high school. Now, we do things a little bit differently at that high school, but that's not what we're really gonna drive in on. But just know that that's my area of expertise, and everything that I do in my life is really revolving around that as a business owner and the other side of my life. That being said though, archery as a sport and being called athletes that are a part of it. Obviously there are plenty of different size athletes and different types of athletes. So we're gonna talk about what those athletes are and my take on the idea of being an archery athlete and what I think leads to being able to shoot a 300, and some of my tips and tricks in the first year of me competing last year, being able to execute plenty of 300s and really just fighting on my X count inside of competition, not just in the backyard. And that's not me in any way bragging, acting like I've arrived. I still have plenty of growth that needs to occur, but I know that that baseline of 300 is like kind of like getting your black belt. And so if I can encourage or try to give any advice on how I did it, then that's what I'm gonna do. And so just know that this is my perspective on how I feel like I achieved it. So all that being said, stay tuned if that sounds interesting to you. All right, so as I was saying in the intro, I was just referencing the fact that in my first year of competition, I actually shot multiple 300s. Now, what are those competitions? Let's give some background. Those are the TSO, those shootout, which is the shootout series. It is a bigger series inside of the Southeast region. With that, you have Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and then there's some other states. I think it's a total of like 7 states that are actually all around the general area that all participate. With that, there's a bunch of different classes. The main focus of the actual shootout series is to get archery inside of more people's hands, especially the youth. But with that, there is an advanced compound, which is for money, and you actually get some bigger names. Jesse Boyles actually shot it this year and actually grabbed the first place, where I actually placed third. And then Caden, he actually got second place. Congratulations on him for shooting super clean and all around. That knocked me out. That video is soon to come. But with all that being said, really, really driving home the main factor of what I am here to talk about, which is the fitness side. With archery, and those that have followed a little bit of my journey, you guys understand I'm limited on time. So I don't get a lot of time to just be behind my bow. However, my life is fitness and trying to also encourage people to stay healthy, because understanding that this archery thing is just a part of my life. It is not my life, nor is my job my life. My life and the things that I enjoy are, one, praising God, but then most importantly, doing that through the way that I love my family. And if I'm out of shape and I can't love on my girl when she's like, I want to go play, and I don't have the energy to go do that, then I feel ashamed. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If I can't do my job around the house, all those things. So what am I getting to? What is my main point? My main point is I believe in, one, having a healthy body. And all that will correlate, if you just stay with me, to being a better archer. Because a lot of people will say, oh, the weight room doesn't really transfer to the actual archery. There's no way you're gonna use the same exact muscles, where in reality, that's just crazy hogwash. You only have so many different muscles in your body, and at the end of the day, you get all of those muscles strong in a big picture, general like view, then Yes, it will help. It will keep you more stable. That is the one thing that they say helps male athletes versus female athletes. They're stronger. So the idea that you can't improve your archery by being in the inside the weight room, I think is crazy. Go ask Matthias Fullerton and some other guys that are clearly in the weight room, but he's just one that clearly speaks up about it in regards to his archery endeavors. But I just think it's super vital for us to, one, understand that big picture general, our big general picture. That being said, what is it that you need to maybe focus on? A lot of guys will use the weight room and think, oh, I'm gonna do my banded warm-up stretches and think that I'm in the weight room getting stronger. That is not the type of inside weight room that I am talking about. I think you need to have a particular program or some type of progressive load approach in regards to building up your whole body, because a lot of times they'll just be like, oh, you needed to get your back muscles and your shoulder muscles strong. Yes, your rhomboids, your delts, all of those play a big role in shoulder stability and being able to hold at full draw. But if you also have weak legs, it will also create this weird sway in your whole body, whether we see it or not. When we actually get on one leg and we start feeling those micro adjustments, if we don't have strong legs to help stabilize ourselves in space, that's also going to affect our pin movement. So those are just some big picture views on why the whole body approach is super, super important. If you stay with me, I'll explain a few more reasons, but keep it in mind, I'm still limited on shooting time, so I'm gonna trump this time that I get to shoot. When you are trying to shoot your 300, there's gonna be a lot of hesitation, a lot of issues that you're gonna have to work through. There's gonna be a lot of mental breaks, or you're, oh, well, I don't know how I can do that. Like, that just seems like this high bar. At least for me, I'm speaking, it felt like this high bar that everybody talks about. Oh, you just have to shoot your first 300, then you'll be able to taste it and feel what it feels like, and then you'll be able to repeat it all the time. Yes, I actually do agree with that. But before you get there with all those thoughts, if you don't have this strong, stable platform as a body, then you just think that everything's always changing. You have no consistency on what you're doing, because at the end of the day, to be as strong as you want to be does not mean that you're going to be a great archer. You can be as strong as an ox day in and day out, but it does not mean that you are going to be a great archer. It just does not directly transfer. This is such a skill-oriented and repeatable thing that having more muscle just aids as a foundation, which is always just going to be a foundation for life. Again, a later on conversation. But the big picture that I just always want people to remember is that when you are strong, it helps you hold steady, stay healthy, and then on top of that, it allows you to shoot a crap ton more on the days that you're able to shoot without hitting fatigue, which means for higher quality practice. And if you get higher quality practice, that means better improvement way quicker, especially when you're limited on time, like those of us that are adults living real lives but want to be good at this sport. So if you're passionate about archery and you actually want to get good, I say take care of your body, get strong and get aerobically fit. Those things are going to pay you well beyond archery, but inside of archery, it will still pay you back dividends beyond dividends. So this is going to be the last part, what you all actually clicked on the video about. I'm sure you're sick of the, oh, it makes you healthier and all that fun stuff. Yeah, whatever. You're here for the archery. So how it actually translates to actual archery and why I'm still a big proponent inside of a sport that does not demand you being extremely strong or extremely agile or athletic in regards to the speed. This is a very skilled sport, so let's take a few steps back in regards to how this applies and why I think it's so vital, especially for those of us in my type of situation where your time is limited in regards to time that you can get to a range or time that you can spend in daylight actually shooting, whether it be outside, inside, whatever. If you are in that situation, especially, this is where being strong will always come into play. So we talked about being healthy, helps you out in all aspects of life, just in the basics. What's up, baby? All right, I love you. So where was I? Oh, we're talking about how this actually translates to archery. So let's jump right into it. At the end of the day, when you are strong, what that allows you to do is, one, push off fatigue. So inside of archery, there's a lot of static holds. You're trying to fight through fatigue, especially those of us that don't get a lot of stacked back-to-back days inside of the range. So let's say, draw a big picture. Let's say you only get a day or two throughout the week to be able to shoot. You're not getting in any type of archery shape in regards to just using the bow as your fitness to be able to build resilience. Now, if you're able to get into a gym though, early in the morning before your day starts, and you're able to get your life on track, nice and healthy, all those fun shebangs, then at the end of the day, you're able to shoot. Now, some people will be like, but it affects my shooting. But if it creates a new actual solid set point for your actual health and wellness, it actually won't, not as much as you think it will. Now, if you are in the growing phase, yes, it will. It will definitely, because it's gonna create more fatigue, and fatigue will always hide performance. That's a very understood thing. So I'm never gonna act like lifting the weight room will not negatively affect, at least at the jump. But once you set that baseline and you actually get stronger, and you're not just like sitting in there doing a bunch of band work, but you're actually doing what we would call inside the health field progressive overload and actually getting stronger. This means avoiding just doing the bands. The bands are great for warm up and mobility type of work, but what it does not aid in the big picture is actually growing muscle. You're gonna need resistance that you can incrementally increase, which is why I love barbell movements. But everybody will be like, but the barbell can't look like the archery draw. Like, at the end of the day, you're not trying to make it look like the drawing action. What you're trying to do is actually build those muscles up, whether it be a lat pull down, an actual face pull, as well as still doing your presses. Now, we talk about the upper body stuff, but still and yet it is vital to have a strong base. I cannot speak about that enough, but I think it's an overlooked thing where if you have strong legs, it creates for a lot more stable platform. Whereas if you have weak legs, in a big picture, you're gonna be swaying, and you don't necessarily feel those sways because you're used to your body until you get your fine point and you're trying to get your dot to actually settle, and you might be super strong up here, but then you can't get everything else to stop, which I think goes extremely unnoticed inside of the archer community, where we don't talk about how our whole system and our body and our core interact. So I would always encourage also squatting, which will stimulate enough growth through your core and your legs. And all of these things can be done within 30 minutes in your weight room or wherever you're at to create a better platform. But that's in regards to pin movement. And then also fatigue management. So if you're able to stack all of those things together, you're able to live a healthier life, way more enjoyable. Nobody's ever been mad for being too strong. And then people talk about, well, the weight room can't look like archery, so there's no way you're gonna be able to use those muscles the same exact way. And just like I said, yeah, in the same sequence, you're right. But at the end of the day, what is the benefit from a male to a female shooter? Everybody says it over and over again. Well, the men are just naturally stronger, so they can hold steadier and they can shoot heavier poundage. Exactly. And it's not like strength just happens on accident for men or for women. Now, are there natural leans in certain directions? 100%. Anatomy and physiology and your hormones all play a huge role in that. But at the end of the day, these are all trained metrics that can improve and get better. Don't listen to me. Do some research. I promise you, I will not come up nil and void. You will come up and be like, oh, this actually has some validity to it. And yeah, we'll be cranking out as many videos. I'm still doing the 30 for 30. I think I'm about to switch that to a 300 because for some reason, once I turn that camera on, it seems like I can't even shoot a 300 on that mini face. But that's a whole nother conversation. Those that know, those that are new to the channel, it's all good. Go find the history. I have a channel or playlist that I'm actually creating, which is 30 for 30 on a mini face, which is a 30X game that I'm trying to shoot, but I've not gotten anywhere close to it when I actually turn the camera on. All that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I haven't done one of these in a while. There's been a lot more indoor shooting content, but I appreciate you guys for staying tuned this long. And if you have subscribed, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the topic. And let me know if you guys will want more deeper breakdowns on what I would suggest as a healthcare professional, especially in the sports world for performance, but also naturally building up some content in regards to what it looks like to actually be healthy and the long-term health side of fitness. So all that being said, remember to be better, one arrow at a time. I'll catch you guys on the next one.